I'll take. Did you read my question so you don't? Oh, I just fell.
So happy we're recording.
Chris Hansen here, and I'm going to need you all to take a seat right over there and check out Birds versus Boys.
I think you're completely right here, and I hate it.
Yep. Hey, idiots. Stop doing dumb things. I got 2 phones. Upside alert. Upside alert. I might go insane.
I think you're already there. There's no hope. Hope is gone.
If this was an AFC North podcast, we'd be done in 15 minutes.
Bob Hope.
I'm going to drink bleach. That is
the team you promised me you were going to be this year.
This is the Consciously Hopeful podcast.
I'll be watching.
Think about all the shit that's happened in the world since I've left. Fucking now there's universal DHs in baseball.
Yeah, that saved the Phillies.
Mm-hmm. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome, I think, to episode 109. I don't really know, but Kmess is back. I've been on a hiatus for about a month now. Aiden, I think I've missed 4 episodes, but it seemed like I've been gone for a year. I let the inmates run the asylum, it seems to be, for the last month. Eddie's been on, Vince has been on, Walsh has been on, a lot of ginger talk, a lot of craziness. But the adult is back. I'm here. I'm going to try and rein things back in. We're recording now at a more reasonable hour, not at midnight. And it feels good to be back. The episodes may be a little shorter for the next couple episodes because I am now controlled by not just 1, but 2 women in my house and in my life. So, there will be a little woman and an even smaller woman walking down these steps if I'm not back upstairs. So, how are you?
I feel like the natural balance of the universe has been restored that you are doing the intros instead of me. As much as I don't mind doing them, but it just feels right. I feel like I'm in my natural place again.
Your natural habitat.
Yes.
So yeah, I had a baby girl, Emma. Emma Rose is now in my life. She's a month old already, which is crazy. She came a month early. Was not ready for that. But yeah, now I'm changing poopy diapers and burping, and never thought burps and farts and poops would make me so happy.
What a life.
Yeah, it is. Just you wait.
Oh, man. Well,
it's amazing. It's the best thing in the world, though.
It's great. No, it's great to have you back. It's crazy that it was a month already. We have done. I mean, the math makes sense. We've had 4 shows. It doesn't feel like it. Everything that happens in the NFL happens so quickly now. I feel like we've done 18 shows since you've been gone. It's only been 4. But I feel like everything, like I said with the intro, everything feels restored. The balance is natural once more, even though there's one more life that you need to take care of.
And you know what else is balance restoring? Is I'm back and we have a guest again.
Yes, an interview. Yeah. It worked out like the schedule wise. This worked out really well, but that's what I'm saying. I feel like we're back on our program. We're back on our normal schedule, interview, guest time, everything. It's like when you leave the work at one time and you end up at the gym at one time, when you get off that schedule, it throws you all off. Your brain's scrambled eggs. We're back.
We're back, baby. We're back. And you know who else is back? Cowboys free agency and offseason, baby.
Kind of.
Jeremy Sprinkle, back. Brian Anger, back. Carlos Watkins, back. Randy Gregory, not.
Almost back.
Kind of back, but not really. And now he's just destroying the Cowboys and the fan base on social media. I don't know if you've seen this. Like, just crushing, calling them the most toxic fan base. And people are like, oh, what? Now we're toxic because you left us? And he's like, let's be real, bro. Y'all always been toxic. I'm like, what is happening? Unfollowed him on Instagram.
You have to.
Had to.
Yeah, you have to. But not just that, but he said that the ownership group acted in bad faith. Amari Cooper's gone. This is all because you have to pay a running back, what, $20 million?
Something like that.
None of the
a fullback.
But yeah, running back 2, pretty much.
Yeah, RB2.
Yeah.
So I was watching NFL Network yesterday, and they were replaying the Cowboys-Panthers game from this past season. Oh. And it had just an unbelievable outside run for Tony Pollard, and he almost took it to the house. He just got tripped up by his shoelaces, and I recorded it and just sent it to my one buddy who's a Cowboys fan. I just said RB1.
Isn't that the game where Zeke got hurt or tore his PCL?
Yes.
Yeah. And then they just were like, no, we probably shouldn't rest him. We should probably just run him into the ground until January.
Keep going.
Oh, man. Well, it's a good thing you have this kid to fall back on. And you're like, at least I have this shining light in my life. Since everything that's happened with the Cowboys since you left has gone dark.
It's just, and it's pretty funny too, because it's like she's like the chillest baby and she's always like calm. And then it just seems like all of a sudden I'll get like a notification like Cowboys absolutely not in on Bobby Wagner, and like this sleeping baby's just like, nah! I'm like, what the fuck? Like, it's just everything happens at the same time. I'm like, she either hates the Cowboys too, or she's just the universe like is destroying me all at once. But yeah,
both.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. We're back, baby. Bobby Wagner could be a member of the Dallas Cowboys right now, should be a member of the Dallas Cowboys right now, and they're just like, nah, we got LVE.
And the Rams pick him up, or the Rams look like they're going to pick him up.
It's just like, and all these teams that have like no money and no salary cap are the ones making all these big moves, and the Cowboys have the second most cap space right now. Thank you to DeMarcus Lawrence for restructuring his deal. Also, you talk about Randy Gregory saying that the Cowboys front office acted in bad faith. Did you see the deal that Stephen Jones tried to offer DeMarcus Lawrence first?
Yes, I saw it on a podcast. Wasn't it like just a year? Just
1 year, $10 million.
Yeah.
He was like, yeah, no. They're like, all right, we're going to release you. And he's like, okay.
Yeah, that's a terrible deal. There's no stability there.
None. So they came around. He had like no guaranteed money left in his deal. So then they gave him the 3 years, $30 million, fully guaranteed. He's happy. They're happy. They're able to drop $14 million off of their books, free that up in the salary cap. But then like, okay, we made that move, free the salary cap. They released Lyle Collins. They're going to save $10 million. They're going to save the $18 million because they traded Amari Cooper. Does like Stephen Jones think that this money like goes in his pocket, or like, I don't, because now they're not doing anything with it. And I get it. You need bonuses are coming for players. You're going to have to pay some of that. You need to sign your rookies. So you need to be under the salary cap after the draft. I get that. But they're like, they had like 26 million under. Now they're around 22. And they're literally signing their punter to a 3-year, $9 million deal.
That is very funny. Like, you can see Cowboys Twitter just clamoring for somebody, and they go with a punter. So that poor guy, like, I'm sure he's happy to get his contract, and just everyone on Twitter is like, nope.
Yeah, like he was great last year. He was a weapon for this team. It's the first time they've had a good punter since before Chris Jones was hurt. But like, what? Like,
yeah,
I fully believe that like Jerry and Steven were like that. Like they had full blinders on going into the offseason. And like it was Randy Gregory, like that he was their number one concern. He was their number one priority. He was all they were worried about. And the second that deal fell apart, they were like, "What? I don't know. What do we do? I don't know. What do you want to do? I don't know." Like that's what I feel like they're like that meme of what is that?
Finding Nemo.
That or Puff Daddy, where they're like looking at each other. And then,
oh yeah, and the guy looks like Odell Beckham.
Yes, like that's what I feel like Steven and Jerry are doing at the start. They're just like.
I also think a lot of teams are guilty of this, just not the Cowboys and just not this season, where the goal is to shed cap space as much as possible so you have the financial flexibility to do things, and then you get the financial flexibility, and you're like, well, now that we have it, what do we do with it? Mm-hmm. We've got an influx of cash. How do I spend this cash? We had a plan to get rid of the money. We don't have a plan to sign other people once we have that money. It happens to NBA teams all the time where they gear up for a specific summer of free agency. And then it'll be like the Knicks were planning for Giannis's free agency summer, which would be this summer, 2 years ago, and shedding cap space. And then he signed with the Bucks for $1 billion for like 10 years. And they're like, well, we have no backup plan now and just a bunch of money. That's kind of what I think the Cowboys did.
It is, because also like So they always like to bottom feed, right? In free agency. They have not spent over $7 million a year on a free agent since their $50 million deal with Brandon Carr. Like he was their last splash. I don't know if he scared them away because he wasn't a superstar or whatnot. He was a solid cornerback for them. I mean, everybody gives him that shit for the Odell Beckham catch, but he was good for them, not great. So since then, they've dabbled in the bottom feeding. And finally, last year, they hit on some of those bottom feeders, right? And with Jaron Curse, Keanu Neal wasn't good, but like Malik Hooker played well. And I feel like now they're putting all of their eggs in the Dan Quinn basket. And they're like, all right, well, Dan Quinn made all these guys superstars. So now we're going to bring Jaron Curse back, which I am thrilled about. If they would have let Jaron Curse walk, I would have been livid. The dude missed 3 tackles last year. He just played out of his mind. He deserves his money. I'm glad they brought Malik Hooker back. I think the two of them playing safety are going to do well together. But then like Dante Fowler. Okay, he's making nothing. His base salary is like $1.2 million. I'm fine with that. But like Dante Fowler and Dorrance Armstrong are not starting DNs. You had Randy Gregory on the other side of DeMarcus Lawrence. Now you have not. You could have got Zadarius Smith, Calais Campbell, Von Miller. They're just out.
You know who's still out there? Derek Barnett.
He is still out there. I'm good though.
Are you sure?
What do you think his market would be? Like what?
Honestly, I think he would be one of those bottom dwellers. There's a reason he's still out there.
Yeah. You think he would sign like a 2-year, $13 million deal?
Probably.
Like
honestly,
6 guaranteed.
Probably less. Yeah, I think he's in the market for $6 million guaranteed somewhere, whether it's 1 year or 2 years at $12 million, but like $7 million of it is guaranteed.
I actually wouldn't mind him on like a 1-year prove it deal because I feel like he has the ability. It's just
don't do it to yourself. Don't. It's not worth it.
But so the biggest, obviously the defense we've talked about, they brought in LVE back. I would love if they brought Bobby Wagner in. I mean, put Bobby Wagner with Micah Parsons, you immediately have one of the best linebacking cores in the NFL. And for Micah to learn from Bobby Wagner, I mean, it's unbelievable. And did you know Bobby's representing himself? He does not have an agent. He is his own agent.
A lot of people are doing that these days because they don't want to have to give up the percentage of their contract to somebody.
But the glaringness for me right now is still the offensive line. What have I been saying for the last 2 years? It's not 2016 anymore, right?
Yes.
They just flat out released Lyle Collins. Like, see ya. He's picked up by the defending AFC North or AFC champions. They let Connor Williams walk. He's in Miami now. So now you have a glaring hole left guard. You have apparently Terrence Steele starting at right tackle, who had one okay year. Your center still stinks. You saw at the end of the year, Tyron Smith looked like he fell off a cliff. I hope that's just a couple bad games and not like, he's done. Now what? Like they were at the pro day at Texas A&M. I think they're looking at the tackle/guard there. I mean, JC Tretter's sitting out there. Sign him. Biotish stinks. Go sign a center. Like, do something.
Now you guys are the gift where they're just poking him with a stick, and you're like, do something.
Or sign Tyrann Mathieu. Like, and then you play Jaron Curse up and like as a box safety, and you have Malik Hooker and Tyrann Mathieu playing back there. Okay.
I'm also in on Tyrann. If we could get him on the Eagles, I think that would be just an attitude changer for this franchise that I think that they very much need. So free agency wise, I get from a standpoint, you should not be doing what the Jaguars are doing.
No,
never having comp picks, overpaying people to fix the holes that you have created by not drafting well, because then you're in a vicious cycle of doing the same thing over and over and over again. But at the same time,
they paid $119 million for I don't know what.
Yes, Christian Kirk, who is a wide receiver 3. I like him, but
they have all wide receiver 3s now.
Yes,
Zay Jones,
Evan Ingram. Did you see the Great Optics? They posted Zay Jones' stats, and they're like, "Don't sleep on this. And it was like the stats were, you look at it at first glance, you're like, wow, those are great stats. That's a great season. No. It was his entire career.
How long has he been in the league?
It's gotta have been at least like 4 years now.
Because if he's a free agent,
Didn't he play at East Carolina? I'm pretty sure Temple played him. Like I remember Temple playing him when I was in college. So it's been 4 to 5 years.
I am all in for not handling it that way. But there's teams like, and even the Rams. I mean, the Rams haven't had a first round pick since Jared Goff, and I don't think they have another one for the next 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
But there's teams that are stockpiling picks, like the Eagles. I mean, it's still hilarious that they got 2 first round picks from Carson, and he literally lasted a year in Indy.
Yeah. Well, 1 first round pick. The other one we got from the Dolphins. Yeah. Crazy that the Dolphins had all of that, like ammo.
Yep.
Listen, as a Sixers fan, anyone who goes the process method and it works out, I'm all in.
Can you imagine how mad oh my God, Brian Flores is right now?
Oh yeah. Like he's like, you were paying me to lose games, now you're trading for Tyreek Hill.
Everyone, and you're signing Armstead.
2 first round picks left. I think they traded 1 this year. They still have 1, and they have 1 next year, even though they gave up theirs this year. And they drafted Jalen Waddle a year ago.
I think they're going to try and move DeVante Parker, which I could see the Eagles being in on if for the right price.
That is an Eagles move. All right, that is an Eagles move. We are not the team who signs Davante Adams to a record-breaking contract or even Tyreek Hill. We're the team who gets Davante Adams because Tyreek Hill got moved to the team, signed for $1 bazillion, and then we take the guy who's been solid and dependable his entire career but costs less. Like Calvin Ridley was always in the shadow of Julio Jones. He was a wide receiver 2. He had the chance to be wide receiver 1. He had some issues with his anxiety and ended up not being able to play. And then, he was on a dependable contract. He's the dependable wide receiver. And they're like, that's our guy. And then he made a FanDuel account. But that's the type of guy that they're looking for.
The Cowboys are the type of team that trades a first-round pick for a wide receiver, then pays him $20 million a year. He saves Dak Prescott's career, but then all of a sudden their offensive coordinator says, I don't know, I can't fit him in my scheme, and they trade him away for a 5th.
Unreal. How about that worked out for him? Because now he gets to play with Deshaun Watson. They connect the dots in the NFL offseason this year. I've never seen anything like it.
No. How about the tilt of power to the AFC?
I know. Every good quarterback's over there.
Like, what do we have in the NFC? Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers.
For now.
Dak.
Well, come on.
Hurts.
Nah. There's somebody else, right?
Marcus Mariota.
Marcus Mariota. Who? Why are we?
Stafford.
Kyler, kind of.
Stafford, Kyler.
Yeah, kind of.
Geno Smith, maybe.
Yeah. Trey Lance.
Trey Lance. Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah. All right. Warren Sharp. I wonder how he ended up on this podcast. So a tweet from Warren Sharp. He's got all of the weapons from the NFC going to the AFC. So Russell Wilson, Seahawks. Now he's in the AFC. Matt Ryan, Falcons, AFC. Devontae Adams from Green Bay, the AFC. Amari Cooper, Cowboys, to the AFC. Tyreek Hill, Deshaun Watson, Von Miller, technically from the Rams to the AFC.
NFC, NFC, AFC.
Yeah. Khalil Mack from the Bears to the
How about
AFC.
our Chargers, man?
Oh, yeah.
This may become a Chargers podcast.
Yes, honestly. This could be, how our teams were really bad in the first season that we did this show?
Yep.
We might be gravitating towards the Chargers if we end up bad. And then Robert Woods from the NFC to the AFC.
I love it. What do they call him? Something Trees? I had no
Bobby
idea.
Trees.
Bobby Trees. I fucking love that.
Robert Woods, Bobby Trees. It's an all-time nickname.
Before we go any further, I think we buried the lead. Do we have any technical notes or guests or anything tonight?
Oh, it's too late now. I thought about this 5 minutes ago, so we blew right by it. I was like, you know what? They're going to find out when I lead into this interview. They know that we have an interview.
True.
Honestly, I'm excited for the interview. But I am going to do it justice when I lead into the interview. I thought about it 5 minutes ago.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I was like, yeah, we blew past it. I will make up for it. I promise.
But some of these, I love it too, because it used to be like the NFL, years ago, like there were no trades, and now it's just like on fire, and I absolutely love it.
It's insane because I feel like some people are just moving because other people are moving.
Yes.
Did you go through that period in college where like all of your friends, like after freshman year, everyone comes into sophomore year, and then you do your classes for your major, and like every person's like, oof, I don't know if this is what I want to do. And like everyone at the same time is like, I might switch my major. I switched my major.
I switched my major.
Yeah, Vince is raising his hand. He switched his major. Literally, everyone goes through this. That's what the NFL is doing. Everyone's like, oof, I don't know if this is what I want to do. I'm going to have to switch my major.
That's a great analogy. Yeah, I was just like, wait, I have to take what classes? I took one no, I liked macroeconomics. I think I took microeconomics, and I had to take another one in accounting. I was like, yeah, I'm good on this.
I was looking at like the jobs that you ended up in if you had my major. I was like, mathematically, how do you live if this is the job that you have? I was like, I might have to switch.
I was like, what can I do? Speech communication. This sounds fun. I get to take a class called small group discussion. Okay. And I took a class called dinosaurs in college.
Oh, that's awesome.
It was great. Literally. Yeah. It was literally just called dinosaurs.
The best is
I was like, are we just gonna watch Jurassic Park? And then it turned out to be really fucking hard.
Really?
Yeah.
You probably
like
had to
all
study
the technical
like
names
and stuff.
Yeah.
But what was I gonna say? Oh, in high school, they're always like, oh, you gotta be so prepared for college. Like this will never fly when you're in college. And then it's like some of your professors are just like having casual conversations about how they were at the bar last night. Like I was studying and you were at the bar.
Well, that's kind of how I thought parenthood was going to be. They're like, people like, you have no idea. And I'm like, yeah, I think it'll be okay. And then I'm like, I had no fucking idea.
I believe you. I definitely wouldn't know what I was doing.
Sitting here like this at fucking 3 a.m. Literally, my wife has to feed her every 2 hours, and that goes on through the night too. And then we have to like sit her up for like a half hour before we can lay her down so she doesn't spit up. So like,
that happens to me too.
Lisa feeds, and then I hold her, and it's like 3:30 in the morning, and I'm so tired, and like you can't fall asleep with the baby in your arms because if I fall out of bed, or she'll just fall. And I'm like on Twitter, and that's like I've re-scrolled 1,000 times, and there's nothing new, but I'm just like trying to stay awake, and like Twitter's the only thing that keeps me awake.
Yeah, it's always a lonely time. There's nothing more lonely than that desert you're in when the tumbleweed goes by. When you refresh Twitter late at night, and nothing new pops up. It's just dead. Like everyone is dead asleep.
However, there have been a lot of like big time baseball free agency moves that have been happening late at night. Like Rizzo signed for the Yankees. I think. Yeah, Freeman, like a lot of that kind of stuff happened at night. So I was like, okay,
that was getting you by.
Yeah, but yeah, it's been fun. But yeah, I do think that this has been like the Kyle Yeomans tweeted today. It was pretty funny. He's like, the NFL offseason is drunk, and it is.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely is. But it's good. The NBA perfected this almost to a fault. The NBA perfected the offseason. The NFL had perfected the actual product on the field. Now they are perfecting it. It's become bigger than sports. It's entertainment. That's what this always is. That's why you're like, why is so-and-so performing at the halftime show at Super Bowl? It's entertainment. This isn't a game. This isn't a sport. This is entertainment. They have now perfected it. This is why they're growing. This is why people are giving billions upon billions of dollars for the Thursday night football rights and the Monday night football rights and everything like that. That's why.
Yep.
The NFL offseason is drunk. Who says that? Kyle Yeomans. Yeah. Our guy. Congrats. He's getting married. You guys are all making life steps.
Yeah.
I was at the bar with Vince on Saturday.
And Eddie.
Yeah, and Eddie. So going nowhere fast.
Speaking of entertainment, before we get into our interview here, I am like ecstatically excited for these new booths. Like the Monday Night Crew. Buck and Aikman, Al Michaels and Herb Street. Yes,
very bad. I very badly misheard what you said. But I'm very excited too.
Very excited. And even I love Tirico. So on Sunday nights, it's going to be interesting who Fox puts, if they haven't announced it yet, of their like game of the week call.
Yeah, that's a great point. So I'm assuming I feel like Gus Johnson's gonna make his way. I think Greg Olson is gonna be the color commentary guy.
That's right. Yeah.
I want to
That's
get
what I was
my
thinking.
hot take of the night out of the way.
Okay.
I'm kind of sad. Like I liked Al Michaels and Chris Collinsworth. I know
love them.
everyone doesn't like Collinsworth. I thought like when I heard those two voices, that
Sunday Night Football.
meant this game is special.
Yep. Sunday
That's
Night
what it meant
Football.
to me.
Yep.
Yeah, I was like, this is Sunday Night Football. Like this is it. Like we wait all year for these games, and it's special when you hear their voices. So I'm sad that duo broke up, but I agree. I mean, I like Al Michaels. Kirk Herbstreit, pound for pound, is my favorite commentator in any sport. I think he is phenomenal in his job.
He's making 8 figures now between the two shows.
He's also doing college football.
Well, he's College Game Day still.
That's what I was worried about.
Yeah,
so he's
no,
not doing the primetime college football game.
I don't know. He might still be.
Oh,
but
see,
I know
that makes me sad.
I'm sure he is.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to do this for one game a week.
He is so good.
Oh, he's so good. God, I can't wait for football season again.
Yeah, and then Troy Aikman and Joe Buck staying together but going to Monday Night Football. And I probably, like, not to call you old, your age group, like Monday Night Football meant more than Sunday Night Football. Like Monday Night Football was a spectacle. I think in my lifetime, Sunday Night Football has become the big time spectacle. Like Monday Night Football is on and we watch it just because it's the only game. But like waiting all day for Sunday night has become the actual thing. So that
Sunday Night Football is my favorite game of the week.
I think it's way better than Monday Night Football.
Yep.
And then Vince says it's Thursday Night Football for my generation. Of course.
You like that Wednesday afternoon football.
Yeah, the Titans Panthers on Thursday night in September.
Really in those gross fucking color rush
uniforms that they wear once a year, and everyone's like, "Oh, we were watching this, and it is really testing how much we love this sport."
Yes,
they're the games that you're like when you're sitting there in May and June, and you're like, I don't know if I can make it.
Yeah.
Those are the games you appreciate. You're like, I would watch Jacksonville play Tennessee right now.
When my wife's like, you've been watching football all day. Do you really have to watch, the Bills and the Patriots on Sunday Night Football? I'm like, yes, because you know how quickly this whole season is going to be over? I need to cherish every freaking second of this sport.
Speaking of that, did you hit this point? I do it every year. March Madness. Don't know how much you've had to
8 minutes.
8 minutes of it. Oh, I'm in that position still where Thursday night, I was like, my eyes hurt. I have watched football. I've watched basketball the entire day. I am physically and emotionally drained from these games.
Yeah, I've unfortunately not had enough time for the tournament this year, but hopefully this weekend I'll get to watch some more. I do go Peacocks. My stepfather graduated from St. Peter, so he's all fired up.
They're coming to Philly.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. Tickets to get in the door. It's on my bucket list. It's going to have to wait a little bit longer.
Why? What is it?
It's very expensive.
Is it really?
My friends were like, if it gets to 200, we'll go. It was sitting at like 275. Now it's over 300. It's making
just to
its
get in
way
the door.
400.
Yeah.
To get in the door.
No thanks.
Not even for good seats. Like
no thanks.
Back. Yeah. I was like, no. You get 2 games, but still, I think I'll pass.
Yeah. That's all right. So we've had absolutely no structure to the start of this show. But we do have an interview coming up. We haven't announced who it is. So I'm going to let you do your lead into our interview. And then we'll have TikToks after.
All right. Well, firstly, I apologize for burying this lead because we've been excited for this interview for quite some time because we had it lined up for quite some time.
Yep.
And then like with your schedule, this actually worked out perfectly where she had to reschedule and then you had a kid. So we had to reschedule the show for a month. So this worked out perfectly. We've been excited for a long time. Stephie Smalls is about to join us. So she does NFL fantasy and betting for Champions Round. Big time follow on Twitter as well. Just really knowledgeable about the game and about the NFL in total. So we're going to talk about pretty much everything that she covers. NFL, betting, all of the offseason moves, probably with more structure than me and Kevin have, which isn't saying something, but she'll be really good. A lot of energy. We already tell a lot of energy. Yep. So excited for that. Kevin needs that because he gets 30 minutes of sleep. Mm-hmm. I'm on 6 hours of sleep and it feels like 6 minutes. So we are counting on Stephie to bring us home. We're excited. So bring it on. Stephie Smalls joins us now, presented by Stateside Vodka.
All right, we are now joined by another A-plus guest. Like I said earlier, I'm finally back on the show, which means we have a guest. Since Aiden never wants to do any work, I just have to pull the guest. So we have a guest again, everybody. So I'm just kidding, Aiden. I'm just kidding. So we're joined by Stephie Smalls, a must-follow on Twitter. She covers the NFL, betting. She's all over the place. You have to follow her. Now, before we get into this, Stephie, I have a quick kind of icebreaker question. So I'm from Jersey, live in Pennsylvania now. I went to a small school, Kutztown University, a very cold town. See that you went to Arizona. And now that I'm 34, all I ever think about is, God damn it, why didn't I go to a different school? So, was going to Arizona as cool as it looks?
Yeah, I mean, you're definitely going to outlive me. Like, without a doubt, I promise you, you're going to probably outlive me. It was absolutely worth it, 100%. I can't deny that. Sometimes I'm like, maybe I should have went to a smaller school, but I wouldn't change it for anything.
Oh, God damn it.
I love that.
Snowed all the time.
Was it worth the 10 years off my life? Probably.
Yes, absolutely. I lost probably 5.
That's why I don't know how Gronk is still even in the league at this point. I'm like, isn't your liver failing you at this point? Like, it's got to at some point.
Honest, especially him, because the partying just never stops after he left Arizona.
Yeah.
It only progressed even more, which is unbelievable.
Yeah, what a monster. All right, let's get into the NFL news. News of the day, Tyreek Hill to the Dolphins. So from a fantasy perspective, do you think it's going to hurt him being away from Patrick Mahomes for the first time? Or do you think he just kind of keeps on being a beast because we saw with Jalen Waddle, he was a PPR machine, top 10 in receptions. Do you think Tyreek Hill kind of feeds into that as well and keeps on churning?
Yeah, I mean, it's a massive downgrade, right? I mean, we're not going to – everyone is so excited for Tua. Tua has yet to, like, fully prove himself. They had – Fitz coming in. He's always kind of had his hand held a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that Tua can get the ball to where he needs to get it to have, Tyreek. They tried to do this with Fuller, is they wanted this like vertical speed threat down the field, and it didn't work out. Is it going to work out with Tyreek? Maybe. I'm sure he's still going to be fantasy relevant. Is it going to be wide receiver 7 like he finished this year? I don't know about that, but again, it just here goes my camera again.
Hey,
it kind of
autofocus, baby.
It depends. It honestly really depends on Tua, and a lot is on his shoulders. And I think that's not unrelated, right, to why they brought in Teddy Bridgewater. And I think that you have to note what Miami is doing. Everything is done very much for a purpose.
I know. Teddy's going to be like that closer again, like Fitz was. Remember when they would start and everything, and then they'd bring Fitz in at the end. I could see them doing that.
It's that they started that quarterback tango where like it became normal to kind of just be. We saw it in New Orleans too, and Taysom's coming in, Jameis is playing, and they kind of normalized that. And I think that's more that they didn't trust Tua, and finally, the Deshaun Watson stuff is to bed. He's not going to Miami, so you have to trust if that's going to be your guy, you need to trust him. But also now Tua, there is no excuses down there. Let me tell you, especially they've started fixing the O-line. He's not going to have a lot of excuses. I think I don't know if it hurts Waddle more. You can make an argument, but you hope that this team, people get really scared to draft 2 receivers off the same team. I don't really care as long as it's a productive offense. Like you can have 2 very productive wide receivers for your fantasy team on the same team. Totally cool. The quarterback kind of matters though. So Tua makes you nervous. I'm not going to lie. I mean, he makes me nervous. I want to like Tua. I don't know if I can like Tua. So he has a lot to prove this year.
Yeah, like when people would just stack up on skill position players from the Chiefs, that made sense in fantasy because they had Mahomes.
Exactly. We're talking and you want to talk about a less appealing offense, you can even look at the Vikings, right? Like all of those players are very fantasy relevant, including Kirk Cousins. Like those are guys that you could rely on, knowing that Thielen is, before he got hurt, sure, is he touchdown dependent? Yeah. Does he get touchdowns though? Yeah. So it doesn't really matter. And then you have Justin Jefferson. So is it a super sexy offense the way that like the Chiefs was? No, but we're talking about productive offenses that score points, that have their players involved, and that's what you want. So we'll see how it's gonna pan out over in Miami. I'm happy for them. I'm happy for Miami fans. But sometimes all these movements don't always lead to the happiest of endings, as everyone hopes.
That is true.
Yes.
As
A fan of the Eagles who supported the Dream Team back in 2012 with Namdi Asamoah, I know very, very well that sometimes all that spending just blows up in your face.
Honestly, kudos to the Chiefs, though, because
Yeah.
Tyreek was going to hit free agency next year, right? So they did, it's brilliant what they did. And this is what a lot of teams fail to do is they get so connected to a player that they want to show loyalty, whereas like now is the time to get rid of him because once he hits free agency, you're screwed. So good. I mean, good for them, honestly.
I think he just saw the potential of the Jackson Mahomes Juju TikTok-ness, and he's like, I got to get me out of here.
Too.
Get me out.
Mahomes is on his honeymoon. I'm freaking out of here. See ya. Let him know when he gets back.
Bouncing when I get out of here. Oh my god.
Exactly.
Aiden, before you hop into your next question, I have one fantasy question here I wanted to pop in since might as well keep them together. So my guy Amari Cooper leaves Dallas. Now he's in Cleveland, and he has Deshaun Watson. So what does that do to elevate Amari Cooper's fantasy value heading into 2022?
It evaluates. What am I saying? Evaluates. Today was crazy, huh? I'm trying to keep up. I'm trying to do golf, NBA. I'm all over the place, but I think it elevates him a lot, and I like him there. Also, in fact, too, I don't know if they're going to sign someone that's going to eat into his value either, and I think that's part of it. I think that he can become a true wide receiver one there with Deshaun, and. Again, though, you have to take into account, is Deshaun going to get suspended? What do we do if that happens? But I like Amari Cooper. Recently just drafted him in one of my startups. He's always been a player that I adore. I can imagine that was a little hard for you guys over there, but you can't hang on to everyone.
No, it's just fun when you give up a first round pick, you pay the guy $20 million, and then he's your number one receiver. He saves your quarterback's career, and then your offensive coordinator's like, I don't know how to fit him into the scheme, so we'll take a 5.
I just don't understand. What do you mean you don't know how to fit him into the scheme? Dak does better when he's on the freaking field. I don't.
That's Kellen Moore for you. That's Kellen Moore.
Goodness gracious,
Mister. He's going to be a head coach in this league.
But we like him. We'll see who they bring on. I imagine that they'll probably look into Fuller or one of those guys to bring over to the Browns. I don't know how much dysfunction the Browns might have. It might be a little bit more disruptive than they're expecting. They have a beautiful roster. And Baker was holding them back. So obviously that's an upgrade at quarterback. But again, right, we haven't seen Watson play in how long. I know he's fantastic. I'm not doubting that, but there's a little rust probably to come off.
Yeah, I also love how Jarvis Landry was out. They were mutually parting ways, and then they traded for Deshaun. He's like, wait a second.
Hold on. This isn't what hold up.
Odell said today he's open to going back too.
Did he?
Yeah, he said he would think about being open to go back.
Imagine if him and Landry both went back.
And Cooper.
If they went back and they both balled out, that would be the most ringing endorsement ever that Baker Mayfield might not be a good quarterback.
Baker Mayfield dug himself a grave. I actually got to a point probably a week ago or so where I started to feel a little bad for him. And then that little Instagram post, bro, you're a grown adult. You are the QB, you got drafted when again? There is no reason you are acting like this. You're better. I know the Browns organization is the Browns organization, but at some point you think you're going to be appealing to other franchise. No, you're not going to be appealing to other franchises.
When he signed his name, what was his middle name? Reginald?
Reagan.
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 Out of here, bro.
That's a classic.
Too many glasses of whiskey is what that is.
Yeah.
Just get out of here.
Yeah. But that's perfect because that's where I was going to go with my next question with Baker Mayfield and just how it's been a chaotic musical chairs version of the NFL offseason, but he's kind of been the one left standing. So we were looking at destinations with our TikTok tonight, just kind of predicting where he's going to go. The one team that I thought would be good because it's chaotic is the New York Giants. You think there's any chance, even a slim chance, because everyone this offseason has said they're committed until they're not. So do you think the Giants are fully committed to Daniel Jones?
So was this a well-drafted question before I got on the show, or was it because you actually genuinely think that?
Both.
Go ahead. It's not happening. I think Tyrod Taylor is, the Giants are in a place where is Daniel Jones the answer? No. And I was the biggest Daniel Jones fan. I have supported Daniel Jones. I have, fought for him. And I'm at the point where I'm well aware that there is a 90% chance that he is not the guy. Can you win games with Daniel Jones? Yeah. Do you have to keep him healthy? Yeah. Are there things that are absolutely his fault? And has he led to a lot of the issues that are on the team? Absolutely. But has he not been supported? Also, yes, there's an argument on both sides. David Gettleman, I hope that man is enjoying his retirement so much. I just hope he's having an absolute blast with the way that he has left, this team. I think Tyrod Taylor, everyone was up in arms, it's really not a big contract. Go look at Teddy Bridgewater. Go look at Colt McCoy. It's not. The league is leaning towards you pay for a good backup quarterback. That is a luxury in this league, and people need to realize that. $6.5 million a year, $7.5 million a year, even $8.5. Who cares? To have a good quarterback that can come in and not jeopardize your standings is a
Ben DiNucci, baby.
Yeah, there you go. You look at Gardner Minshew. You can, Nick Foles. Let's talk about it. Talk about guys I think that we should make, this is my big, I am advocating for there to be a position that's literally listed. You got drafted as a backup quarterback. Let's normalize backup quarterbacks. Because I think it's a position that no one pays enough attention to. Look at the Giants last year. Mike Glennon, how can you even assess anything that happened on that team with that clown show that occurred? I think that Baker Mayfield is not well fit for the New York Giants. I think that they have made enough of a stance that they're going to give him the chance. They also have Tyrod Taylor, who again is a great backup quarterback, and I think that that's someone that could come in. And are the Giants gonna be good next year? No. So does it, as long as you have a good backup quarterback to keep you in games instead of your fans having to turn off games, that's what you need. Baker's a little screwed, man. I think that he might be sitting there, and that is not gonna make. He's gonna throw so many tantrums. But where does he go now? To go compete with Sam Darnold? No, thank you.
They said they don't want him.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. I saw that. And then it comes out 10 minutes later, they're both not interested in each other.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's the first time I've ever seen mutual disinterest in each other.
Interesting. It's because he wanted the Colts and the Colts didn't want him. And I promise you, I don't think Seattle is going to go that. I just don't see them going that direction. I think that they're in they've got the 9th pick.
Start Geno Smith, baby.
Don't even deal with it. You got Drew Lock. At least, you guys are not going to be good either. So there's some acceptance to how much of a rebuild are we in? And even fans, they don't realize what a true rebuild is. The New York Giants rebuild started this year. It didn't start 4 years ago. It wasn't it started this year. So we're not going to be good.
When the Texans didn't want him back in the trade for Deshaun, that's when you know it was over.
Oh,
that was a red flag. Yeah.
No, we got Davis Mills. We're good.
I think he might be on the Ben Simmons path of just kind of just floating out there and not being on the team, but not being a part of the team.
I mean, we've almost seen this a little bit before with a little bit different of a character in Menzel, right? I was going back to look over that track. It's a less drunken Menzel is basically what we have here. The stories are very similar, the way the organization kind of just I don't know. So I don't want to say poor Baker Mayfield because he does a lot to himself, but the New York media would chew him up and spit him out. If he can't last in Cleveland, he's sure as hell not lasting anywhere in the NFC East. I'll tell you that much.
I'm praying Cleveland holds on to him. Deshaun gets a 3 or 4 game suspension. Mm-hmm. He has to start and he just balls out. He goes 4-0 to start the season.
Oh, I'm all for the chaos.
I think that's his best bet, though. If I'm him, I shut my mouth, I keep my head down, and hopefully someone wants you next year because a lot of these experiments that are going on across the league are not going to go over well. So you're in a better spot next year.
Yeah, wait till, there's always a team, someone's, unfortunately, is going to get hurt in training camp.
Yep.
And one team's going to be looking like we're screwed for this season. They're like, this is Baker Mayfield's music right there.
bang. That's what always happens.
Always happens. Look at Carson Wentz on his third team. Look at him coming back to the NFC East, right? Good.
The
I
Commander.
can't believe we're going to see him again, huh?
Carson the Commander. Oh God.
I'm still a believer. So
get out of here.
Oh,
Just because
God.
they share hair color. They share hair color. That's it.
Listen, we don't get a lot of like athletic redheads, so I just can't give up. We don't get many chances.
Yeah, you still don't have one. Have you seen him play recently?
That's true.
Yeah, it's not pretty. Poor Carson Wentz. I had a tweet, like, whatever. If you like imagine what probably happens in hell, it's like exactly his life. Like almost winning MVP, then someone that has a nickname that I won't say on the show comes in, takes your team to the Super Bowl, then they draft a younger guy, then you get benched, then you get sent somewhere else to go like meet your old coach, and it's supposed to be fantastic. Then that doesn't work out. Then you get sent back to the same division. Oh, this poor guy.
To a team named the Commanders.
Oh my God.
I say that to my friends. I'm like, after everything that happened, how is he still so religious?
On top of the injury too.
God.
I forgot the injury part. Like, you get injured and then it's like, poor guy. I feel bad for him too, but also it's like, you had no excuses on the Colts. Have you seen the Commanders? Sir, I don't know that that's going to go the way that you think.
Sir,
doesn't seem like a DC guy, so we'll see.
No. All right, I need to ask you, as supporting the Giants. Aiden, I think, fully believes that Joe Judge is a war criminal. He should be thrown in Guantanamo Bay. So, do you think that he should have had one more season? Or are you glad he's gone? What was the Joe Judge era? What is the lasting impression?
My favorite thing ever is when it was all said and done, why did anyone think it was okay to hire a special teams coach as a head coach, right? Like, what? In
Bill Belichick.
What history book literally ever has that worked? I think that he said all the right things. And again, the Giants the season prior, they competed, they stayed in most games. The guys bought into it. They looked pretty good. I mean, they were in a position where don't ruin free agency, don't ruin the draft, fix your O-line, and maybe we could compete. And then what they did was like they just blew it up as much as possible. I think Joe Judge maybe down the road could be ahead. There was no way he was going to succeed there. And I think Gettleman's a big part of that. You don't bring in Colombo and Jason Garrett and then Judge and Graham and have those be separate hires and force them to work together. It's not going to work out that way. I'm actually impressed with the Giants bringing in staff that wasn't a office or inside the staff hire or in the family hire. That's something they have not done. Oh my God. And Jason Garrett, I will say too, like, I think he was a better head coach than he was offensive coordinator, but that man, I feel bad for, I don't feel that bad.
He should be the head coach at Duke and just leave it at that.
I think that's good. I think that's where he belongs. It's absolutely college. He can Ingram reverse everyone to death and do whatever he wants. It's just, it didn't work. And it's a shame. And you can't do that in a system that has, like so many question marks. You have like a really horrible time that you apparently don't care that it's horrible. You have an unproven quarterback. You're overpaying for a wide receiver that barely played a season prior. And you're going and drafting another wide receiver. Everything about what they did was just not, wasn't logical either.
Yeah, it was from top to bottom.
Yeah,
it was just honestly like
zero logic.
No logic.
All right, so Aiden and I, we hate each other because obviously the Cowboys and Eagles, but we have come together as Charger fans. We love Justin Herbert. So obviously not real fans, but so the AFC
closet
West,
fans. Right? I do that.
Yes,
well.
exactly.
Yes,
We're living through them. So
I have
the AFC West is absolutely just it's stupid with Herbert and Carr and Adams going there now, and obviously Mahomes, Russell Wilson now. So do you think the AFC is going to go through the AFC West, or are these teams just going to beat the living hell out of each other, and a team like the Bills are just going to come up and head to the Super Bowl because people are kind of forgetting about how stacked the Bills are?
Yeah, it's funny. Also, I think we can all at least like cheers each other on being in the NFC, right? Like, thank God.
Yeah, right?
Like, you guys can go enjoy
Yes.
enjoy the AFC. I don't care. Like, while my team is figuring it out, I don't give a crap. Like,
Nope.
Yeah.
I think that the AFC West, and we see this happen all the time, and it's obviously a little bit more glorified and a little bit more intense and dramatic than it has been in the past. Like, Broncos on paper sounds really, really cool, right? Like Russell Wilson, you get these. Let's like get it straight. Like, he's getting a downgrade at wide receivers. I don't care what you think of any of those guys. Like, they are still great talents, but they're not better than Metcalf and Lockett, period. And there's still an adjustment that goes on. Like, you don't walk in. I think what happened is Tom Brady walked to Tampa and he's like, "What's up? Hey, it's fine." Stafford walked into LA. He's like, "Hey, it's all good. Like, it's gonna work out great." I don't know if that's always the best, like how it goes. I think that the AFC West absolutely beat the crap out. I hope they keep all of us out of prime time, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just an AFC West primetime game every week.
Yeah.
It
Which
should
would
be.
benefit. I was supposed to say it would benefit all of us if they just do that.
It's
They
not
wouldn't
gonna
keep
happen
us out last year. It was like every week one of us had a primetime game. I'm like, I know you guys had high expectations, but it's not living up to that.
It's the Cowboys, unfortunately. I'm always going to be on primetime. They're going to get eight primetime games a year. They're going to open.
You guys are getting close. You're a couple moves away from getting pulled from primetime, and Jared's going to
God,
be
please pull us. You know they're going to open the season in LA against the Super Bowl champs again on Thursday night with Al Michaels and Kirk Herbstreit. Can't wait.
Oh my gosh.
God, miserable.
It's so bad. AFC West, though, is something. Like, I can't believe that. What was it, last week? That all happened 2 weeks ago now?
Yeah, the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I know. It's insanity.
I don't want any part of it.
No.
Thank God. Well, actually, we played them last season or whatever, so like we unfortunately missed having to play.
Yes,
that'd be even more embarrassing if we were in a primetime game, also getting our ass kicked by that division.
Right. Yeah,
can't wait.
AFC East is also interesting. I mean, the whole AFC. You can make an argument about a lot of the division. Like, there's teams like if the Dolphins do find a way to, pull it together and have chemistry, like there's an argument for them there. And I think the Bills at least now have the experience and hopefully they make a couple more moves that they need to, but there's no reason that they shouldn't make they keep getting like, I don't want to say screwed because I think they do bite themselves in the butt a little bit.
Yeah.
But I think the Bills are a team to very much watch out for.
Yes, 100%.
That's it. We talked about liking the Chargers. I think everyone's like, if my team's not going to win the Super Bowl, I'd like to see Bills fans win.
Yes.
They
deserve it.
Yeah.
They do deserve it. They've jumped through how many tables? Like, they're very passionate, and I feel like they deserve this.
Oh, without a doubt. All right. One last quick draft one because we're getting into our draft talk type of show.
Mm-hmm.
So I saw your tweet that Mike Tomlin had dinner with Malik Willis. Do you think it's possible for the Steelers to move up and make a move for him? They pretty much have to cut their draft position in half. They're at 20. They'd probably have to make it to 10. Do you think it's possible?
It's possible. It's also very unlike the Steelers. But what we've learned from this year is things aren't going the way we are accustomed to. I think they're going to be a little bit threatened now by some teams that are ahead of them. And it's probably going to take a lot, I think, for them to get into a position, unless, this is a lot of smokescreen. Maybe, these scouts don't have Malik as high as it's, up in the air, everyone's talking about. But, it's hard for me. And when I went to the Senior Bowl, like, admittedly, I wasn't as impressed with Malik as when I started watching film and whatever, that I went down there blindly. Like, I was like, I'm not going to go in with the expectations. I kind of started a couple guys. We'll see how it goes. I think there's a reason why he's getting the hype that he is. But again, you're getting a lot. All these quarterbacks are not polished. Like, they're guys that need, bottom line, like they're going to need some work, and they're going to need patience, and they're coaching. Like, this isn't one of those situations where it's funny to just throw them on the Jets like you did Sam Darnold. Like, that's not, like, it's not going to end up being funny at that point, right? Like, and it's not funny now. Poor Sam Darnold, whatever. But still, I think that, it's hard for me to believe with how quiet the Lions have been with their quarterback situation, it's very hard for me to believe too if Malik Willis is sitting there that they do not draft him. I have a very hard time believing that. And I've warmed up to this idea because at first, like when I got back from the Senior Bowl, I was like, none of these guys are going in the top 10. Like now I think at least probably 2 are.
Yes.
And I think the Steelers, it would be very hard for me to believe that when's the last time when would they do that? Like in Cold War era? Like I can't even think of the last time that they made a lot of moves like that. They're very smart drafters. They do a very good job. Best player available. They get their needs. They're a very well-run franchise, but Tomlin definitely does take a liking to Malik. But again, they're a little bit far down. I don't know. I didn't really love the Mitch Trubisky signing for them.
No.
All. Like it was okay. I don't know. But maybe, who knows? This could be the year, right? Last year we thought Dave Gettleman, we never traded, blah, blah. He did it twice. So anything can happen. It does not mean that they won't. But then you got to get past also the Falcons. I don't think that their intention is like Marcus is our guy.
No.
I think that that's a nice Band-Aid, a very pretty Band-Aid that will be nice for fantasy. And then you also have Carolina, right? And they got to get past some people to be able to they're going to be fighting for that kid's going to be, they're going to be fighting for him.
I'm praying. I would love Baker Mayfield to go to the Steelers. Just for the chaos of him playing against the Browns.
Can you imagine? It would be kind of funny. And Steelers fans would hate it because they're a very passionate bunch.
And they have a lot of tweets to delete if they end up with Baker Mayfield.
Well, that's kind of my favorite about the whole Wentz thing is like you guys at some point had to cheer for him. Like, root against him. And then now you're going to have to cheer for him. So I don't want to hear a single thing because I'm going to start searching people's names like of them talking crap on their now quarterback.
Aiden has never said a bad thing about Carson Wentz ever.
No, I am all in.
I love it.
For better or for worse.
But you know those Washington fans have though.
Oh god.
Oh, without a doubt. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. They did. Yeah, that was pretty. I the day of the trade, I was looking at a lot where they were just getting cyberbullied into oblivion with the amount of.
It's so funny now. My favorite thing is Washington. Like when I made my couple comments about once over there, Washington fans are like, "Your quarterback is Daniel Jones," and I'm like, that doesn't hurt me. Like the Giants are bad. Like I literally don't care.
Yep.
The bottom line is you guys had the opportunity last year to trade up. And you decided this year your best option was Carson Wentz. Mm-hmm. You guys worry about your franchise, and I'll worry about my crappy franchise.
We thank them almost every show for not drafting Justin Herbert.
Yeah, they could have had Justin Herbert and went with Chase Young, and we would have been
even last year. They could have traded up and gotten Mac Jones. You could have done something last year. They chose. I think that's their own fault. They had a roster that was ready to compete. And they showed that at the end of the season too. And then they just decided, oh, we're fine. No, you're really not actually.
We had Jay Tuck on a couple weeks ago, the Cowboys content creator.
Oh, I love him.
He's the man. He's the man. And we were agreeing that like we both grew more hatred from Washington fans this year than any years past. They just were like unbelievably annoying this year.
Yeah. And you know what's crazy you say that is I feel like in the past, I probably have not felt that way. And like now, like Cowboys fans and Eagles fans, like don't even bother me that much. It's like Washington fans, something about it is so aggravating to me. Like everything that they say. And it's like, what are you guys? You're beating to your own drum in like a corner by yourself, like chugging Everclear. Like you're not like, we are not on the same page here. Like this is a different, like, I don't know. And I feel bad, but I don't feel bad because it's like, I was like a weird, and I used to get crap for it. I was like a weird closet Washington fan, not like fan, but like I really liked what they were building over there. Mm-hmm. Like I thought like 2 seasons ago, like they were in a really good position where it was scary. Like I'm like, ew, I don't want to compete with them. But I thought that what they were going to do, and I said this over and over again, if they do it up and get a quarterback, they are going to kick themselves. And look what happened. They fell apart this year. It looked like crap.
Yep. And they're going to do it again this year.
Yeah.
Can't wait. Can't wait.
I was about to say,
Not
you
feel
won't
bad
get
at all.
sympathy from a single person on this show since we
Not on this
represent
show.
all three of the other teams that have to go up against them.
Not for a second. All right, Smalls, before we get you out of here, let everybody know where they can follow you on Twitter, how they can read your work, how they can see it. Tell everybody everything.
Yes, you guys can find all my stuff. I mean, I post everything on my Twitter at Stephie Smalls with 3 L's. If you don't know, you'll get a kick out of this. The 3 L's are for Tom Brady. 2 are from the Giants. 1 is from my Nick Foles, who I went to college with. And everything is at Champions Round. It's a pretty cool app. You can check it out. We have a bunch of different micro fantasy games, and all my content's over there on their YouTube.
So what happens if the Giants knock out Tampa this year in the NFC Championship? Do you get a fourth
Got to keep
L?
adding L's, apparently.
You got to make sure that username is available.
Luckily, I'm not too worried because I think before
No.
the Giants could ever do anything, Tom Brady will be long gone.
Yes, I agree. Awesome, Steph. Thanks for hopping on with us. We appreciate it. We're going to have you back on once fantasy football gets a little
sure.
bit closer.
Yes. Love it. I'll have to have you guys on as well.
All right, Aiden, I think you said it perfectly. The perfect amount of energy out of Stephie Smalls. I sleep about 8 minutes a night. You take caffeine pills to stay alive. So we needed a little upper tonight, and that was the perfect interview for that.
And I didn't take any today.
Oh,
So
look
that
at
was
you.
the perfect supplement or substitute was her energy to bring us home. That was an incredible interview, and I'm glad to be back doing interviews with you.
That was a pleasure. It was fun.
After a gap like that, like of not having done interviews for a while you had your like sabbatical, that was like the perfect one to come back to.
Yep,
Just
100%.
like, like you can cut loose. If you're watching on YouTube, just drinking a White Claw. Like it was just like the perfect, like we're talking football and just enjoying ourselves again.
Yep. Next time we have to have her on, we need to is she friends with Nick Foles?
I was very much thinking I'm now very curious if the interview is over.
Yes. We need to have her back on for that. So
yeah, she's like, who I went to college with. That then when someone says went to the same school as, you don't know them.
yes.
When you say went to college with, you do know them.
So we have a TikTok tonight. We're coming back. Vince is here. What is the TikTok?
We are doing top 3 destinations for Baker Mayfield. I kind of gave one away in my interview with Smalls, one of my teams. But we are going to do top places for Baker Mayfield. Vince, good to see you live. I went out with Vince on Saturday night and had a good time.
I made it home with all my belongings. I don't know if you noticed. I had my
You didn't even come with all your belongings. You don't even have an ID. What do you mean you made it home with all your belongings? You didn't even have a credit card or a license to get into the bar to begin with.
Are you talking about Eddie as your belonging?
No, so I don't know if you noticed. I had my keys clipped to my belt loop.
Oh, you're that guy.
Tucked in my pocket.
God.
Just so I couldn't lose them.
You went out with this dude?
I had my wallet zipped up in my jacket pocket so I could not lose it.
I always, when I go out, I do the patent. I always check the pockets all the time, make sure.
Oh yeah,
phone.
I do the triple pat.
Yep. So we're there. Okay. All right. So we're doing three destinations for Baker Mayfield.
Correct.
All right. Let's do this.
All right, let's get into it. Top 3 destinations for Baker Mayfield. At 3, I'm going with chaos, and I'm saying the New York Giants. I think his personality in the New York media would be a match made in hell, and I think it would be really funny, and I think it'd be chaotic, and all I want kind of at this point in the NFL is chaos. So at 3, I'm saying the Giants. Also, he's better than Daniel Jones, so.
3 for me. I'm also rooting for chaos, and that's why I want him to stay in Cleveland. I want them to keep him there. I want Deshaun Watson to get suspended, like I said in the interview, for 3 or 4 games, and I want Baker Mayfield to absolutely ball out and win 3 or 4 games to start the season, and then everyone in Cleveland's like, what do we do now? And I just want an absolute fight between the two of them. Not that he would still get the starting job over Deshaun, but I just want chaos, and I want him strutting like a peacock in there, winning games, and then fighting Deshaun Watson on the 50-yard line.
3, I have the Seahawks. I didn't go chaos here. I think Seahawks are a team that needs a bridge quarterback, and if Baker's jersey didn't say Mayfield on the back, it would just say bridge quarterback above his number, and I think it'd be a perfect spot for him right now.
Solid. At 2, I have the Texans. I know that they've said they're committed to Davis Mills. I know Mayfield is a Texas guy, and I'm just doing this based off of I could see him in a Texans jersey. That is the line of thinking. That's it.
2 for me, it's the Las Vegas Raiders. They obviously have the best receiver in the NFL now. They just need a quarterback to be able to get him the ball. And we all know that Carr is not the guy. He's not going to be able to get the ball to Waller, to Adams. They're going to need a guy, a great quarterback like Baker Mayfield. I could truly see him in the silver and black.
Welcome back.
So at 2, I have the Giants. He just seems like a guy he's a guy I can picture beating twice a year, and I'd welcome that on a division rival.
At 1, I have the Seahawks. I think it's the most logical destination. I could see him in that uniform. I think he's better than Drew Lock. He probably, like you said, would be a bridge quarterback there, but he'd be a better bridge quarterback than Drew Lock would be. If you're going to keep Tyler Lockett, if you're going to keep DK Metcalf, you might as well have like Mayfield's not awful. Like, he's not bad. He's just average. So at least go with average.
1 for me, it's anywhere in the USFL. I think the Philadelphia Stars, Birmingham has a team. I know they did their draft already. I don't know how like free agency and trades work between the NFL and the USFL. Maybe we could ask Donald Trump, because I know he used to own the New Jersey Generals. Maybe he has some insight, but we need to get this guy on a team and a winning team. And what better to catapult his career again to play for the Philadelphia Stars, bring Philadelphia a championship. Even though it's going to be being played in Birmingham, they're not actually playing in Philadelphia, and then catapult his way back into the NFL. I don't see a better place for him to play.
All right. At 1, you asshole, I have the Raiders.
I knew it.
I think the Raiders are a team that just hoards backup quarterbacks. They only have backup quarterbacks on their roster. Like Aiden said, if you at least have someone average in there, because Derek Carr ain't it. So if you're going to start a backup quarterback, might as well start Baker Mayfield.
Since you don't have Marcus Mariota anymore.
Exactly. Well, he was the best quarterback on that team. The Falcons got a good one.
Yep. Now Kyle Pitts is literally just standing there like this right now. Hello?
Yeah, I mean, that's probably why you don't take a tight end at 4th overall. Yeah. But, yeah.
I would trade for him right now.
You would trade for him, but you wouldn't draft him 4th overall if you were just going to give up on your franchise quarterback in 1 year's time.
Absolutely not.
Yeah. That's our show. Kevin, welcome back.
Thank you very much.
This was awesome.
It was a great break for me. I appreciate it. Thank you for letting me. We didn't have structure tonight. I feel like we didn't talk Eagles at all. I apologize. So next week we will get more structure, more into our draft analysis. Yeah.
Well, we had to catch up.
Yeah, we did.
I do have some draft takes and I have some Eagles takes, and they got some stuff to figure out. And I think next week, like you said, it'll be the perfect time next week. So I was glad to catch up, and we'll do our Eagles stuff next week, and we'll be back on track.
I love you all. Make sure you follow us on Twitter, Birds vs. Boys Pod, Apple, Spotify, Google, YouTube. Subscribe to the YouTube, please. Yes. You can see our beautiful faces. And yeah, we will be back next week. Hopefully, I will be a little more rested.
Probably not for the next 18 years.
Maybe even longer, because it's a girl.
Chris Hansen here, and I'm going to need you all to take a seat right over there and check out Birds versus Boys.
I think you're completely right here, and I hate it.
Yep. Hey, idiots. Stop doing dumb things. I got 2 phones. Upset alert. Upset alert. I might go insane.
I think you're already there. There's no hope. Hope is gone.
If this was an AFC North podcast, we'd be done in 15 minutes.
Bob Hope.
I'm going to drink bleach.
That is the team you promised me you were going to be this year.
This is the Consciously Hopeful podcast.
I'll be watching.